Hello, everyone. Hi, how are y'all?
Hello.
Hello, Sunny. Hi, how are you?
We're good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I was just catching up with you a little bit before we went live, and yes, I'm a bit sweaty right now.
Yes, I am too. It's hot.
Yeah, so how are the people here in the chat room?
They seem to be doing fine. They're doing their nails and
Yeah, well, yeah, go ahead and break out your nails and just listen in.
making fun of my voice.
Oh, is
Okay, I can take it.
Mrs. Doubtfire. But anywho,
You got
before
to
we
admit that was a great movie.
I remember some parts of it, but not all of it.
He
So,
was such a fun guy, right?
yeah. Well, he's a comedian, right?
Yeah.
So, before I begin, let me go ahead and ring the meditation singing bowl and let's get started. All right. So, it is actually kind of close to the peak of the new moon in Cancer. Am I right?
Yeah, it's just past it over on the West Coast. It was 7:52 p.m. So we're at
Oh,
8:50. Oh, well, wait a minute.
soon.
I'm sorry. What time is
Yeah.
it there? It's like
It's 5.
5:15.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're
So
almost
here on the
there. 2 hours
right,
before, right?
yeah. And here on the East Coast, it'll be like at 10:52 p.m.
Okay, got it.
So yeah,
All
yeah.
right. So, yeah, go ahead and let's get started. So, what is going on with this new moon?
So we have it at let's see, it's at 7 degrees of Cancer, and that is you know Cancer rules the moon. So, of all the new moons for the remainder of the year, this one is probably the most powerful because the moon is in its home, right? So,
Hmm.
it's very intense, very about feelings and emotions and a sense of security. And it rules the mother and nurturer and healer and home. Um, it is the fourth house in the natural zodiac wheel, which can also represent the grave or the end of the matter. It can represent children. Um, it's also can let's see. This new moon is squaring Jupiter and Chiron. So to me, that emphasizes the healing or healer aspect of this new moon because Jupiter squaring Chiron is a big healing energy and purging wounds, maybe doing inner child work, maybe having memories or triggers from childhood type of wounds and family, because Cancer is all about the family and the home. You might, it's conjunct dark moon Lilith. So that brings in an element of, um, you know, there's all kinds of literature on Lilith. And the way I look at it is each individual has good and bad. So we all have the angel inside us and the devil inside us, and we work to balance those so that we only have enough devil to protect ourselves. Instead, it's not we're going out hurting people, but we're just have enough as we're not a rollover, right? So we have
Hmm.
enough boundary to protect ourselves. And that's to me like, the more dark side. Left without boundaries, our angel would be out there getting, taken advantage of and taken for granted. And so that's that balance of trying to find within ourselves where we are open, loving, nurturing, forgiving, compassionate, but know where the boundary is, to not let someone take us down the wrong path or that dark rabbit hole where we run into dramas and soap operas in our life. So with it conjunct Black Moon Lilith, it can bring out the dark side in other people and things that we're around. So I think it's a lot about facing fears and acknowledgement of things that maybe have been said or done, and not getting too far off center, if you know what I mean. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is a very emotional moon. It also has a square between Mars and Pluto. And, that's a lot of anger. It's a very fired up energy. It can, it's been a heavy energy the last few days between
It really has. Like, you would think that, the Cancer moon would be like more like,
fuzzy.
like, yeah, fuzzy emotional, not like rough. Like,
Right.
I don't know.
Depression.
Yeah, it's
Um,
like, what is this funky mood? It's like, it doesn't feel good. You know?
Well, I think that's because the element of Mars squaring Pluto is playing into it and Jupiter squaring Chiron. So that's
Mm.
a big mixture for healing our inner child, maybe standing up, setting boundaries to people that are trying to um, cross our boundaries. If you have a hard time setting boundaries or saying no, these are the energies that will challenge you to learn how to say no.
I've
Um,
gotten that, in the past few readings that I did. It's that, let's just take it back to twin flame connections.
yeah,
With the divine masculine, they're still kind of in that vibration of holding back, still like going through their karmic contracts, not being able to say no towards their situation. And, it's like the a repeat theme that I keep seeing with twin flames over and over again. It's like, when is divine masculine going to leave the karmic partner? But, what I've been seeing is that, hey, if they're not ready to go, I mean, just, it sounds rough, but get over it, right? Like,
well, and
move past this energy and, accept it for whatever it is. If your person isn't ready to move forward, then that it is what it is. And
we have
you're
to
just
move
gonna have
on
to, like, move on with your life.
and
So yeah.
learn from the experience. What are the emotions that were brought up
Hmm.
having had the experience?
Right.
Yeah, and applying that to maybe patterns that you've had in other relationships or with other people.
Mhm.
Now, I just heard this like last night. I haven't really had a chance to look into it, but um, it was a metaphysical guy doing a talk about the Schumann resonance and jumping timelines, and that 2 nights ago on Sunday night at 7 p.m., the Schumann resonance actually stopped. And so the Schumann resonance is like the heartbeat of the earth, and that it
Right.
actually stopped for several minutes, and that jumped a timeline.
Interesting.
So there we are with quantum physics, right? And
And it
we could,
stopped for a few minutes?
I want to say he said 15 minutes
Damn, 15 minutes is a long time.
on Sunday night.
So do
Now,
you
I
think
don't
the
know if that was
timeline
East
have
Coast or West Coast time.
well, I mean, that's a global thing, you know? but 15 minutes is a long time. A lot can
So this
happen
is
in
with
that.
the theory that, there's other extraterrestrials and species among us manipulating our realities.
Mhm.
Um, it still goes back to the shifting of the Earth's axis from a negative polarity to a positive polarity, and
Mhm.
that literally our realities are changing. And it's very important that we only think of positive realities, and that dark light type of energy where you can choose to kind of stay down in the muck with your past pain and hurts and dwell on it, which Cancer energy has a way of whining, complaining.
Mhm.
Uh, they can be the crybaby.
Overly emotional, holding on to resentments and
Right, right. It's the crab, right? And they have claws that like won't let go.
yeah, I know.
So it's very important that we focus on letting go of negativity, whether it's through your detox salt baths or I think we've talked before about the flotation tanks that you can get through. It's
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
like
salt tanks.
yeah,
Mhm.
um, massage, Reiki. There's all kinds of modems to help detox yourself. And that's where we all need to be focused, because this would be an easy energy to get bogged down in past pain and hurt. Neptune stations retrograde today,
Mhm.
and then it stays retrograde until December 4th. So,
How kind of ironic, especially with the moon in Cancer, this
yeah,
new moon in Cancer, and it's
very
lasting
watery energy.
until the end of the year, like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. And this being a new moon in the home sign of the moon.
Mhm.
So I believe that how we use this energy this week will flavor the rest of our year. So it's very important that, you know, fake it till you make it. Even if you feel like crap or you're upset, try to do positive affirmations and meditations and, talk it out or write it out to purge those negative feelings, and only
Mhm.
think the best of yourself. And whatever your situation is, know that, you know, you are where you're supposed to be, even if it feels like, you've lost and you might feel alone. There has to be a sort of emptying of your cup, so to speak, of all of the toxic stuff before you can fill it up with the positive stuff. And there's
Mhm.
that gray area between the two, between the dark and the light is
Mhm.
kind of a gray area, just like the shadow of a retrograde planet.
Mhm.
So, um, with now Neptune goes retrograde every summer. That's not anything spectacular or unusual. However, it is still in its home sign of Pisces, and that makes it, more spiritual, more dreamy, more dream work. That would be another way to handle this week's energy is um, different ways to do dreams. I don't know if you have, but I've been having some really weird dreams of
Mhm.
like confusing buildings, confusing people, in a dream where one minute you're in one room dealing with people, and then all of a sudden you're in another room dealing with different people. Some you've known, some you haven't. Um, it's just kind of you're in your subconscious mind when you're in Neptune, right? And
Mhm.
so there's
Mhm.
all kinds of records and stored emotions there. And this is the kind of energy that would stir that up. and it can be very emotional. And one of the things I think in our society as a whole that's unfortunate is that we have dulled our emotions and we've put a stigma on expressing feelings. Now, I think that is shifting and has been shifting slowly. I'll give you an example, and I think it would make, I'm telling you this to make everyone feel hopeful or optimistic that yes, these are heavy energies, but we have to get through this to get to the good side, to get to the light. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a car garage, I don't know, a week ago or something. And, car garages are just a bunch of guys basically. And the garage door was open, and I heard one guy say to the other guy, but you need to be expressing your feelings. Now that's a really funny thing to hear a, grimy mechanic guy, rough and gruff, working on metal and cars all day. I think they call
Mm-hmm.
it slinging wrenches. And
Mm-hmm.
here he is, the conversation between the two of them while they're slinging wrenches is, but we have to be able to express our feelings, and I thought, how interesting that, first off, that the universe made me privy to that, because, I'm probably guilty of stereotyping the masculine energy as shut down emotionally or emotionally unavailable, or, the men I've known anyway have been emotionally unavailable. And maybe the universe needed me to hear that, to have some sort of optimism that, maybe all of this craziness in our society over the last couple of years, and the shifting and the Schumann resonance, all mixed together, are helping the masculine be more comfortable with feminine feelings, and the feminine being more strong in having a masculine energy that sets healthy boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot going on, spiritual philosophies, um, and information can be uncovered during this time. So I'm going to share something that is not meant to shock or upset anyone. It's just about philosophy and something interesting that I heard recently, about the Bible. So it was a talk about Satan or the devil and God or Jesus. So when we're talking about dark and light, that could be another cinnamon,
Synonym.
synonym, the devil and God, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
battle, the stories throughout the Bible of the battle between good and evil. Now, I'm one of those people that for the longest time never believed evil existed. And it's taken, years and experiences to see things that, yes, evil exists. I cried uncle several years ago that, yes, I hate to admit it, but evil exists. So, and one of I don't know the Bible well enough to tell you what book this was, or I'd have to look back at whatever I was looking at. But basically, that Jesus himself said that the devil or Satan was the prince of this earthly realm. God, Jesus, and God are the king of heaven. Now, that would rock. I know know a lot of fundamentalist Christians in my area, and that would rock their, brain. That's
Mm-hmm.
just not something that they want to accept, that Jesus would say Satan is the prince of this earthly realm under the firmament. So there we get into a whole nother philosophy of whether or not, all of the things that we've studied and taught to believe are the truth or not. And this
Mm-hmm.
energy that we're in, just like I'm bringing it up, this is about bringing up beliefs and philosophies and information that may not be what we thought. Now, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying what I just said is true, but it was an interesting thing to be coming up under these types of energies with Black Moon Lilith, Neptune stationing retrograde, in, Cancerian new moon at home, because it rules the moon. So it also, Cancer rules the stomach and breast area. And so Cancer people can like hold their emotions in their stomach. If you have a lot of Cancerian energy in your chart, these energies might give you stomach aches.
I know I was gassy and bloated, and I took a prebiotic, which was just like a juice,
Yeah.
and it deflated.
You know
So,
what's a really simple thing to do when you have an upset stomach? An old
mm.
country woman taught me this, is drink pickle juice. Like if you have a jar of pickles in your
Oh, yeah, I have pickle
refrigerator,
juice.
yeah,
Yeah.
drink some pickle juice. And it's really weird how it will make an upset stomach go away. It feels weird drinking pickle juice, but it doesn't take that much. And then also,
Just like a shot of it, not like a whole, like,
right,
glassful,
right,
right?
right, 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 right. Just stand at your refrigerator door open and drink some pickle juice, and that takes care of an upset stomach.
Huh.
Also, ginger is very good. You can slice some fresh ginger and just kind of suck on a piece of ginger. Or
Mm.
one of my favorites is ginger ale,
Mhm, mhm.
and yucca, which is more of a Mexican root type of crop. Cloves, licorice root. Lovage is an herb that's very much like celery. It's in that
Oh.
family. Fennel seeds, and we know about peppermint. So I was just trying to offer up some other ideas. Fennel seeds is very much like licorice. It has
Mm.
that same kind of flavor. So, you know, cancers are the gardeners, so they often work out their upset emotions through digging in the dirt, or gardening. It's a nurturing energy, right? So it's
Mm.
that desire to take care, whether it's a plant or a person or a dog or a cat or a goldfish. That's their nature, is to want to nurture. Um,
Mm.
Very intuitive. Um, like if you have a lot of Cancer in your chart, when you're around people and they might be telling a story, you would get feelings in your stomach when you know it's not true. And that's the whole sort of learning your intuition, learning to know what are your signals. Everybody's kind of different how they express their intuition or how they receive information. So, being very sensitive to other people is this energy. It is also, so as far as archetypes go, it can be the psychotherapist, the smothering mother, invisible man or woman. So, that's interesting because sometimes you just want to disappear when you feel overwhelmed by emotions. And
Don't talk to me.
yeah, yeah,
Where did she go? Oh,
yeah.
I
Um, this is also about parents. So, you know, I think we touched on it last time, but and it gets even more intense through these next couple of weeks of, um, where applicable, people
Mhm.
may be experiencing role reversals with their parent, like your parent as they age becomes more like a child. And if they're experiencing any kind of dementia, then the child becomes the grown up and the adult. It's a very weird kind of role reversal there. And so people may be experiencing some of that, or around their friends that are experiencing that. So the whole
Mm.
parent child relationship is under a lot of focus with the new moon. Um, so emphasis on children and the inner child. So there, some good news is, trines are always the 120-degree uh, aspect between planets. It's considered lady luck. and this new moon is making a trine to the asteroid Vesta. And Vesta is the home hearth. So there's a lot of emphasis on home with this new moon. Besides it being a new moon in Cancer, which is home, a trine to Vesta would be you may be shopping for a new home. You may be renovating something in your home. You may, today I tore up a flower bed and rearranged a flower bed a little bit. So that's very Cancerian, rearranging something at home in the garden. It's getting in my area where I live, that time of year where part of your garden you planted with cold crops, the cabbages and broccoli and peas and things like that. Well, they've petered out from the heat at this time of the summer, and now it's time to pull them up and plant some other crops to have for the fall. So there's that cycle of a time for change, a time to start over. And you can apply that to, I swear, Shabaka, you have a great sense of humor.
I know, that's why I love her.
It wasn't flowers that I destroyed. It was roots that have been needing to be dug up. And
It needed to be done.
yeah, I worked out my frustrations. My local greenhouse
That sounds bad, but
it's not true that there are things that are not free. My local greenhouse for the month of June, you show up with this coupon and they give you a 1 gallon azalea. So I took advantage of that, but where it needed to go were the roots of, what they define a weed as is something growing where you don't want it to. So these were some prolific kinds of Nandina is what they are, but they spread like crazy and they're just prolific. So I got a bunch of those dug up so I could plant my azalea. So that's what I mean is, when you think of your life specifically and this energy, it could be, just rearranging a room in your house. It doesn't have to be something as extreme as a new house, but it can be all different degrees of what you might express it as. So this fall, with Neptune stationing retrograde today, kind of take note, those of you that journal or, either seriously or casually keeping notes on your calendar or whatever, or in your phone, you'll be addressing some of the same things in December that are coming up now with Neptune involved. That could be repetitive dreams. It could be something like you helped a friend go through 6 weeks of Al-Anon and they have a backslide and need to go back in December with the drug alcohol element of Neptune. So just I had an old woman tell me 100 years ago to take notes in your life, and I have journals that go back decades. And it is interesting, but I've always kept the astrological notation of whatever was going on as well. So it's interesting if you do keep some sort of record of what's the big things going on with you, a job change, a relationship change, a home change, a parent change, the big chapters in our life. When you take notes, then just like when things come back around in transit of your chart, the people might not be the same, but similar patterns of behavior get repeated. And so, when I was looking into anything else going on today, it is Elon Musk's birthday today.
Oh, is it?
It is.
Also, it's the Karmapa's birthday.
Oh.
I think they say it's on the 30th, but they're celebrating it today.
Okay. Well, his birthday is actually June 28th, 1971. best I could tell, there was no time. So I'm not sure what his rising sign is, but his sun is in Cancer and his moon is in Virgo. So
Mm.
he,
Yeah.
analyzes a lot.
Yeah.
And he's had a very interesting relationship life between girlfriends and ex-wife and children.
Mhm.
Virgos are very picky in relationships. They
Mhm.
can get turned off very easily by their partner doing something not to
Stupid.
their liking.
Yeah, I know.
I've always used the example of um, their partner slurps their cereal and that's
Yeah.
offensive to them.
Close your mouth. Like, you know,
Yeah.
that is not charming.
You
No.
like
I
that?
get that from my mama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
I anyway, so something that I caught on one of the like I think it was a LinkedIn article was that um human resource people were analyzing him and what it's like to work at Tesla. And
mhm.
Tesla has had a pretty big layoff today. So on his
Mhm.
birthday, he laid off a lot of employees.
Mhm. Yeah.
And yeah,
Psychologically, it's like, what is that? Like a birthday gift? Like,
I know. And so a birthday is, when the sun returns to the original place it was when you were born.
mhm.
It's the spotlight of your year. So, and not a year from January to December, but your solar year is your birth month to your birth month. For you, it is
Mhm.
January to January, but like for him, it would be June to June. And
Mhm.
so what they were discussing is he evidently, so Virgo is very analytical, right? They're very
Mhm.
detail orientated and they're a perfectionist. So he might
Mhm.
be kind of challenging to work for. And
Mhm.
these human resource ladies were talking about um, they foresee some lawsuits coming up against him with this layoff and the Department of Labor violations. So that's interesting under a new moon energy. And I think that Neptune stationing gives us this very um, foggy perception of him. I mean, you hear everything from A to Z, from he's a super nice guy to he's not a nice guy. Um,
Mhm.
his money has probably,
I think that with all of the innovation that he has created with a team of people and how the economy is going, it's like now that they've built up, all of the technologies that, he kind of needed for his projects, he's ready to let go. Um, and plus it's just the economy isn't where it should be. And from what I heard is that they kind of like they had a growth period and now they're at a slow period. So how could the employees, come after him for something like that? I mean, if you're a business person and you're looking and he knows about finances and trust me, I have beliefs that he has reasons to do it. Now, for people to pick on him, to do,
try to get
you
his
know,
money.
yeah, to get him, extort him for whatever he's got, that's the
Right,
wrong way of going about doing it.
right.
So I guess 6 months from now, he's going to be worried about that around Christmas time when it's
It'll be interesting to see if any of these lawsuits get any traction. Um, there was a funny meme where it was an electric car being charged by a diesel truck, like it
like,
had died and the diesel truck comes and
can
yeah,
save the
so
day.
a whole, that's what I'm talking about, like philosophy and information coming out is this
Yeah,
whole
and
thing
then I got like the whole like how those charging centers were made from other resources like coal or I forget. It was nuclear energy. And so there's like, well, where do you think nuclear energy comes from if it's made from a battery and blah blah blah, you know? I get it. Like everybody I mean, at least he's trying to find ways to not be so like be overtly consuming resources that we don't need, you know what I
or
mean?
dependent on one particular thing.
Exactly, diversify, you know,
So
like
Nikola Tesla in the 20s and 30s developed the electric car. So it's not
mhm,
like we haven't been down this road historically before. And
mhm.
one of the studies that I came across years ago was in the 60s, big oil kaputzed the electric car because big oil was wanting the money, right? And so it's like
Oh, they
cycle.
sure as hell getting that money now. Now I'm going off on tangent, but you know, sorry, go
Well,
ahead.
I know that online there was a boycott called for this weekend for nobody to buy
Mhm.
gas, as a way to try to force gas to come down.
Gas up, guys, before you
I
go.
haven't seen if it had any effect or not. The projection was if 1 million people boycotted buying gas for 2 days, that it would, they would lose so much money. They would have to bring it back down. It's all, like you said, a big economic game, with a very few wealthy players. So,
Oh, I
you know,
know.
it's kind
And
of,
we're just like pawns on a piece of
or,
chessboard.
one of the things I've always joked about, and it came out of a Bonnie Raitt song. I don't know when it may have come out in the 80s. The lyrics are something about, I'm not an amoeba.
Oh wow,
And
she sang that.
I'm trying to think of the song. I'm not the Queen of Sheba. I'm not your amoeba. Um, a thing called love. That's the name of the song.
Uh,
Okay, so ever since I heard that thing about amoeba, I've always had this joke that what if we're all just like, an experiment in a little petri dish from some, greater world or existence, right? And
mhm.
we're just here in this little petri dish. Well, have you noticed lately all this stuff about giants among us and the fossils and things they have found where giants roamed the earth a long time ago. So
I don't
it's
know.
just,
When you said that, I've there is this dude in MMA. He or it's MMA or boxing. It's a Korean dude, and Koreans are usually 5 footers, but this dude is a giant. He's a Goliath, and yeah,
well,
he's
there's
like
actually like a lineage to, 9 feet tall people.
uh huh.
This, I think, was more focused towards Europe, um, and some of the old uh, ruins, sites of ruins and stuff. And so, where I feel we're at in a lot of ways is sort of Peter Pan or uh,
Calm
fantasy
down,
land, like,
ground yourself.
yeah, or things that you thought were fantasy, just like, the fairy tales, and you have to wonder, just like mythology, maybe fairy tales began with a slight teeny thread of truth. And, there's a couple of fairy tales about giants being slain.
Hmm.
Um, something that I'm anticipating that, and I guess it's because I live in the Bible Belt, so I'm surrounded by a good bit of fundamentalist Christianity, and I mean I know plenty of people who believe every single thing written in the Bible, and living in this area that I live and being an astrologer, it's always been that battle of the judgment of, well, it's not in the Bible, so it's, you're the spawn of the devil. But one of the things astrologers have always believed is, as the books of the Bible were compiled, anything about reincarnation was left out, because if the peasants in the fields knew that they could reincarnate and come back as a king, the kings wouldn't have power over them. So whatever your belief is, my point is, under this energy for the rest of this year, and it's already kind of begun, where they found a bunch of lost books of the Bible under the Vatican.
They
And
weren't lost, they were just tucked away.
right, but coming out to public, like coming out to us poor peasant folk,
Mhm.
for us to see a different reality than what we've been taught
That's
to
why
believe.
the Bible says give up 10%.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and so depending on where you live, I mean, that could really blow some minds. And one of my dearest friends, I mean, I just let her talk about um, when she goes to Bible study or whatever. And, I speak my truth. I mean, she doesn't quite know how to take what I do. She likes me, but it's like what I do, she's not so sure about.
Mhm, mhm.
So all I ever say is, well, do you do you think I have integrity? Have you seen me live my life in an honest way and treat people well? And she's like, well, yeah. And I was like, well, then I don't think you could call me a charlatan, right? So, this
Oh my
this
god.
kind of like blows little wires in her mind. And I think that this is going to get more and more so, where people are going to
Mm,
have to readdress these deeply held philosophical beliefs, regardless
mhm.
of what religion or denomination, because secrets are uncovered. Mars Pluto squaring, that's right now in the chart of the United States. The United States is under a Pluto return. So the United States is rebirthing. It's tearing down structures um, based on social mores to rebuild. So it is very hairy. I think it certainly tests um, your faith in what you do believe. Um, um,
I know, right?
um, let's
Smoke one
see.
for me, honey.
I
Like
know, I know. Have one for me. Let's see. Um, So really, the way to navigate this kind of heavy energy is to really know what your intuitive processes are. Like, everybody gets it differently. You might hear things, you might get impressions in the mind's eye, you
Mhm,
might feel it in your stomach, you might get it through dreams. But just, honing your tools on how you have get your intuition. And the big challenge is to stick to your intuition. So, like, I've always believed that your first voice, when you're trying to decide something about something or someone, whatever your first voice tells you is your intuition or instinct. But we all like second guess these things, right? And so then we get, influenced by other people, or we reach out to friends, and we get kind of scattered. So this energy is very scattered and fuzzy and foggy and spiritual. So the way to best harness it and channel it for your highest good, I believe, would be, practice and trust your intuition.
mhm.
Something like, you know, that's part of the brain that's like any other muscle that needs to get exercise. So things like you're putting gas in your car, and besides feeling sick about it, guessing what the numbers are going to come up, guessing who's not using caller ID, but guessing when the phone rings, who is that? Making that part of your brain exercise, and that's like with dream work. People will say, "I never remember my dreams," but if you focus your mind on wanting to remember your dreams, you do develop that part of the brain to um, retrieve things right when you're waking. So the problem is people get too hurried getting up and on with their day and lose those impressions or what they were dreaming about. If you'll spend a few quiet moments, in that fuzzy period between you're awake but you're not awake, and make the conscious effort. What was I dreaming? What was that about? And so that is another way of getting, good information on what's best for you where you are, because it's going to be
Mhm.
different for all of us,
I
whatever
know
you.
when I wake up in the middle of the night, I have like this dream. I was like, oh, okay, I gotta remember it. But you're just too tired to journal it. And then you wake up and you're like, I had another dream. What was
Right.
it? You
Or
know?
do you ever wake up and then you want to go back to fix whatever was going on in the dream because it was very
No, it's
disturbing?
an alternate reality in my dream. I'm actually having a double life
Yeah.
in my dream.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, okay, in my conscious waking experience, okay, this is what I know to be as reality. But in my dream state, I'm actually dreaming, or I'm actually in another reality that seems realistic,
Yeah.
and I'm having another life in my dream. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
they say there's very good information there that we can apply here in this reality for whatever we're
Yeah, I
dealing with.
get that, but I'm like, well, why? Because the thing is that I'll dream about my twin a lot. And I'm like, okay, how many dreams am I gonna have about this one person over and over again? I'm constantly getting information from him in a dream state, and sometimes it's like a check in. Sometimes I get to see like his children. It's like everything that I'm not able to do
Hmm.
in physical reality, I can do in my dream state, like, have communication or have a conversation, or just knowing like what's going on in his life. I have all of that. So in my conscious waking experience, I'm not experiencing that.
Right.
So what is
You're
that?
connected on another
Like
dimension.
exactly, right? So it's like, okay, thanks for checking in.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just so strange. But even in my dream, I had a dream about my father, but it was like two persons. One was my real father, one wasn't. It's like, and I was having a conversation about, I don't know. It was, I can't remember, but I remember that. It was a couple days ago. So strange.
I think we dream about other lifetimes, like maybe that was something in another lifetime.
Well, it was my actual father, but it's so strange. I don't know. It's kind of like remote viewing.
Yeah.
It's like looking down, list looking at a fragment of space and time,
Right.
not really understanding what I'm looking at. And it's like, okay, it's like you poke your head in a moment,
Right.
and then you're in your conscious state, and you're like, okay, what was that all about? That's what dreams are like to me. I really feel like it's like an alternate reality. It's
Yeah.
real, but
Yeah.
it's, I don't know. Like a different perception.
In one way, that's kind of comforting, right? To know that this is not all that there is,
Oh no, like, our 3D experience is just one aspect, and we're multidimensional, and so, you know,
Well, and
um
that's what I was thinking, it's like always dreaming about him or you checking on him. I mean, we're all connected somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So, um,
I just want him to speak. He doesn't really talk to me. I just get eyes. Like, like, it's like, telepathic. It's like, okay, I see you. Okay, I'm going through emotions. I'm like, speaking out loud, but I'm getting like telepathic conversations. It's so strange. It's like, I'm
I
like, okay.
wonder, as an experiment for you on that, especially under these mixtures of energies, it might be an interesting exercise to make a focused attempt at when you go to sleep and you're going to dream about him to telepathically, send that message. I need you to speak to me.
Say
I,
something.
yeah, I need a
I've
message.
I've even received like a little note. Like he scribbled like a note, once. And it was a nice little note, but you
Yeah,
know.
one little note is not enough.
Well, even in the 3D experience, I've never really get much from him. He's a
Right,
Virgo, so
right,
he
right.
doesn't really speak much, only unless he has something good to say or wants to speak his piece. But um, yeah, very. He's just a weird Virgo. But you got his chart. He's a Virgo Stallion. So
Right.
what is that? Like, are they like non-communicative? Like, are they like? I don't
Over
understand.
analytical
Yeah, but
and very critical. So
like,
they tend to, and the perfectionists, so they will roadblock themselves trying to make something perfect, overanalyzing when their lesson is to learn there's no such thing as perfection
mhm,
and to stop analyzing everything. So until he's ready to shift that pattern, that's how he is wired.
mhm.
And, that's where you get into outside influences of family and friends that, um, not just him, but make all of us struggle to, tune into our own, needs, and, um, ideas of what we should do and feel confident about that instead of needing constant reinforcement
Or
or,
validation.
mhm.
I mean, I can't speak because I'm a Virgo rising. I get it. I just don't know what a hardcore Virgo is like. You know what I mean?
Now you do.
I mean, I don't. Okay, let's move on. What else we got?
They're very efficient, right? So
Mhm.
hard workers, you know that about yourself. You don't like waste or to, waste time on something that you feel you can do more efficiently.
Mhm.
It's that
Even
earth.
today, let me just let's so I had an order, and I don't know if she is watching this, but she ordered an 8-ounce body butter set with the polish. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I have that, but I didn't see the 8. I was thinking 4. And then when I double checked the order, I was like, shit, it's 8 ounce. I gotta redo this. Like, and I'm a perfectionist, right? So I was
Right.
like, "I can't do this." The order was almost perfect, and
Oh,
I can't ship it out because it's not an 8 ounce, damn it! Like, so now I have to whip up some body butter. Well, actually, now it's body polish, but that's
love
okay.
it. I used some a little while ago.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
So, I was talking about the mixture of these energies being very, Peter Pan like and very,
Mhm.
making things that we thought were fairy tales or myths, maybe with an element of truth. Just like the orb that you had go past your head with our last chat or two chats ago when I was having issues getting online.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's something very magical about all of this. The energy, when we talk about different dimensions, when we talk about whether we're a sphere or flat. I mean, these are all things coming up to, and what am I left? Never a hand. Yeah. And so well, I'm getting around to the point is when I was looking at cards for us tonight, and you can decide, but I was coming up with either the magical unicorns, because unicorns really do exist in another dimension, or the shoot, I can't get my hands right, mermaids and dolphins, because
Okay.
mermaids really exist too. So whichever one you want me to use, and something similar for you is in terms of like that fairy tale, that fairy magical unbelievable characters or unbelievable things that could be true. She's digging in her collection.
I know, right? I got
What is
it.
it going to be?
Here.
Ah, well, if you do unicorns, you want me to do mermaids and dolphins?
It's up to you. I have mermaids too.
Well, you do the unicorns and I'll do the mermaids.
Okay. Sounds good. BP says mermaids and dolphins since we are in Cancer energy.
Yes. I knew I was on to something.
Uh huh. Well, earlier today, I actually pulled out this deck for the collective reading.
Yeah.
This is my mermaids. I think it's called Mermaids and Dolphins deck, but it's a tarot deck. So I
So have
pulled
you
that out.
seen, it was a video that came out years ago of the film in some deep part of an ocean somewhere, and the mermaid like beings that were dodging at the underwater submarine vehicle that was filming them, and the controversy about whether that was real or not. Do you remember that? I want to say it was 5 or 6 years ago.
If that were the case, I missed out on it. I didn't know that that was a thing.
Well, it's one of those things like they prove to be fake or whatever, but
Kind of like the Loch Ness monster.
yeah, and Bigfoot and
Bigfoot's real.
I think Loch Ness monster is real too. There was something recently, and the only reason it stuck in my mind, and it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been, was Lake Tahoe. Have you ever been
Hmm.
there?
No, but I wait. Isn't BP? No, somebody here. One of my clients actually wanted to win a house at Lake Tahoe. I've never been there, but go
It
ahead.
is beautiful.
Is
And
it?
there's a folklore about an unusual, I was there probably in like 2012. And there, I have a picture of a sailboat. I thought it was handy, but it's not.
It's right
Um,
behind you. There's a boat behind you. Is that
that
it?
is down at North Carolina Outer Banks.
Oh, okay. Oh, back in my home state.
Yes, yes, down in the Outer Banks. So,
Aw.
anyway, there's a folklore like in 2012 when I was there and I took the boat tour around the lake and they point out things. It's a huge place and it's very beautiful.
Mhm.
And just a couple of days ago, there was some documentary about photos of this unbelievable creature in Lake Tahoe that they actually got some better pictures of it. And so it's an interesting time when a lot of these folklores and fairy tales are maybe, just like all the declassification of the UFO information, right? And
Yeah, there's more of
Roswell,
that coming out.
right? So that's only going to get more intense. So
Now they're gonna start manipulating information.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like they always do.
if they
And
haven't
like, well,
already.
yeah, well, yeah, we know that. Everything
So
is kind of like a manipulation. Do you feel that? Like,
I feel like it's that struggle between the truth and the dark, the truth and the good and the bad. And I'm trying to remember, is it that is it Project Veritas? It's one of those journalists that tries to root out government corruption.
mhm.
And there was supposed to be all of these documents declassified at the first of this year that was blocked. And he is actually, oh, maybe it's that Judicial Watch guy. He's an attorney, and he's the one that files all of these Freedom of Act um, things to get documents exposed.
Mhm.
And supposedly he's going to go to the Capitol next week to declassify all of these, like the Kennedy assassination and 9/11, and some things that, are going to absolutely shock and appall most of us.
But I think we already know the truth, but we just want to get
We want it out front, because there's still people that
don't believe.
are in la la
Well,
land.
that's because of years of brainwashing and programming, and
Right,
giving someone like a false narrative,
right.
for whatever whatever that they want to do. It's kind of like I
Rosemont.
went to the doctor today about my son, and it's his annual physical. And I don't know if everyone knows this, but my son is autistic, and um, I just have an issue with stuff. But anyways, the focus of this visit was, I was telling him, well, when I was reading some reports that my son was born with, lactose intolerance and things like that, I wanted to know if I could get blood work done for him just to see like where his like levels are at. And he says, well, there's no need for that. It sounds like, he's doing healthy. And I was like, okay, well, I want like an allergy, kind of
Panel.
test just to see like I know that he may not be allergic to the foods I've been giving him, because if he was, then we'd be at the ER. I just want to know what foods that he has like some sort of intolerance to, like, like being sensitive, like food
So
sensitivities.
he would go to an allergist to get the scratch test.
Right. And so he didn't even do that. And I'm like,
I'd go to
now,
another doctor.
well, so this is his pediatrician. He's been going to him for as long as we've lived here. He's at the adult age. He's 19, so he can go to an adult doctor.
Right.
I'm almost like contemplating, like, should I?
Yeah.
Like I like the convenience. I know convenience is one thing, but
Right.
I'm
You
I'm
want the
kind of like,
information.
yeah, and I told him about the vitamins that I was giving him. Like, I was starting to introduce vitamin E as a vitamin supplement. And
Hmm.
he's like, well, I don't see that there's anything wrong with, doing vitamin D. But I was giving him vitamin D3, and he was talking about low levels of D3, like 500 milligrams. I'm like, 500 milligrams? We live in Washington State. Like, I don't understand. Like maybe he's just working with kids, and that's where I was thinking like he should be aware of pediatrics, but also like with, grown-ups and
Or
stuff.
more engaged. He should be more engaged in wanting to answer the parents' questions.
Well, he was answering me, but and I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to say, "Well, I know better than you. I'm a mother," blah blah blah. I'm not going to argue with a doctor, but I really do feel like I could use another opinion. And I know I can go down the rabbit hole with that because if I go to, like, let's say 5 different doctors, every doctor might have a different opinion. So, like, who's the right one? You know?
Well, mother's intuition is going to win out every time.
Well, yeah. And so I'm going to continue what I've been doing. And I don't know, I have to fill this guy out. But for the most part, he's been healthy. I haven't really had the need to take him to the doctors, you
Do you
know.
think he could tolerate scratch tests? Have you ever? That's kind of a takes a
No.
lot of patience to go through
Well,
those.
mama has to sit there and hold his hand and was like, "Here, look at mommy."
Yeah. But
Yeah.
you can be allergic to foods without it being a
Like
tragic
having
response, but it's enough of a response that messes with your skin and digestion and
right, like
overall
there's
feeling.
other kind of allergies, like, having like a rash or
Right.
not really anaphylaxis or at whatever you want to call it, like where you have problems with breathing and stuff. Um, and so because I know that I might have food sensitivities, you know, like not everything I eat is safe, and I'm vegan, so
I'll
there
tell
could
you an
be.
odd one. It was years and years ago. I kept having like psoriasis on my skin, and I would
Mhm.
go to the local doc in a box. They'd give me a steroid cream, and after about 8 or 9 months of that, the guy goes, "Look, we can't keep prescribing this. You need an allergy doctor." And I mean, I was 50 years old, never been allergic to anything.
Mhm.
So I did. I took their advice and I had the scratch test done. And the thing that I was most allergic to was dust and apples. And so I'd say to the doctor, I was like, "Well, I do eat apples just about every day." And I thought I was being good for myself to eat apples. And he said it's probably something on the skin, and that
Wow.
it's not that you can't eat them, just don't eat
Uh-huh.
them every day. And
Or you wash them with, vinegar water and stuff.
well, for about 4.5 years, I took weekly serums that were mixed every season based on the pollens in our area. And it's called immunology therapy.
Mhm.
And never had any more of the skin problems. Um, I'm glad I did that commitment. It was kind of a pain to go like that and do it, but I think that where before like spring pollen would bother my sinuses, I don't go through much of that anymore. So
So what exactly was that?
they would mix whatever for each season. There's a
Mhm.
different kind of pollen or allergen, and they would mix a serum using whatever the local pollen
Pollen.
was for that spring or fall or whatever. And I want to say that I would take the same serum for about 8 weeks, and then they'd mix up a new batch. And I took shots, one shot every week at the local pharmacy.
Mhm.
And so they're injecting you with the pollen that you would be allergic to try build up your white blood cells. I think might be wrong what I'm saying there, but build up your immunity to
Mhm.
that allergen. Now,
Mhm.
dust is impossible to get away from. You know,
Right.
I've done the mattress covers and the pillow covers, and but I don't care what you do. There's dust everywhere.
Yeah, that's you'll be cleaning 24/7 just to
And so, but I will say that I used to get sinus infections prior to this so bad, I, I, they would put me to bed. I would get really horrible headaches.
Mhm.
So it was a long, long process, but since then, but they say, they say your body changes every 10 years. So now I'm in a new decade where I'm discovering other things that my body is doing. So, yeah,
We live and learn.
about the time you get used to your body, you go into a new decade and something else
It's
happens.
like, "Oh, is it this time?" Like,
Right. Yeah. Now it's more joint and arthritic kinds of feelings. So
I
that,
take, vegan collagen gummies.
yeah.
It's called, what's it, Miss Ruth, and it's actually okay.
Yeah.
I did write a negative review, I gave it 4 stars on Amazon. It was really tart, it was, and then you have to eat it 3 times a day, and, you can't eat it with other supplements. So, I made
Have
a
you ever
complaint.
heard
Well,
of it's a powder, it's like collagen peptides, and
mhm.
mix it once a day with something you
Yeah.
drink.
Well, yeah, if you're not vegan, and you can do that, then yeah, you can try that because my
I
mom
think
does that.
collagen is probably the key though to keeping, cartilage and things cushioned between your joints.
Oh, yeah, I call it joint juice.
Joint juice, yeah. Yeah.
But, anyway. Alright, so, hey, did we find a new organ in the back of our mouths? I don't know, honey, like, what organ is that?
Hey, I'm telling you, um, I think we're going to find all kinds of weird things coming out about how they've been experimenting on human beings and yeah, interbreeding with different species. This was weird. I don't know. A month or so ago, I had a dream. Somebody had a baby and it had a tail. And I was running around going, the baby has a tail. Are you going to cut the tail off? I was all
Oh, I
freaked out.
remember. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember you telling me about that.
I was all freaked out about, you got to cut the tail off. Yeah. Well, there was some report recently about um, a man with a tail.
Mhm.
So it's this interbreeding and experiments between different
Huh.
species.
Oh, you know what? I had an ex-boyfriend that had a protruding tail
Ah,
bone. I'm
God,
serious, like,
he had a nub.
I mean, it's not funny, but,
What do they do
like,
with dogs where they cut the tail off? What's that? The
yeah, it
carpet
was like a
tail
little
or something?
nubby.
Oh my gosh. Well, I saw somewhere in the chat about that. I don't have it to watch it, but I've heard about that series, Strange Things. And I've heard that, yes, a lot of that is very true. But I saw some previews and it was like this really ugly guy and he had like ears attached all over his head.
I don't know. So,
Yeah.
why to hear what? Oh, man. Mm-mm-mm.
I know. I'm telling you, I think that the things that we thought were fantasy and fiction over the last 50 years are probably based in reality.
Do you think we have some sort of underground lab where there's
Yes, there's no doubt in my
okay.
mind.
Mhm.
There's no doubt in
Mhm.
my mind. I mean, they've been talking about, you know, special operations going into tunnels under the Vatican and under DC, where they bring out, children in cages that have been experimented on. And I saw this weird film of these parents adopting these two children, and obviously the children had been bred with some sort of alien. I mean, they had the long, weird, skinny fingers and the weird shaped skull, and they were
Well,
trying
I
to
mean, I,
call it
I
some
could
kind
be
of
an
condition.
alien because when I was born, my mom and dad they were really freaked out when I was born because my head was like a football, like an alien head. And they're like, "What the fuck is that?" Like they were scared because I was the firstborn
Oh
and my
goodness.
head was like, but you know how like babies' heads can
Babies'
get when
heads are
they're
soft
pushed
and they
out.
change. Yeah, I mean they are still growing when they're born.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, who knows what the heck I am? Like,
Well, I think it's fascinating that there's a larger and larger community of people more open-minded to this stuff, and I think it's the minority who are still in denial of some sort of you know fantasy, the way things have been spun. And I think that's why we're here. We're here to help those that have meltdowns over some of these truths, um, soften the blow.
I don't know. I think with the whole integration of like sci-fi and like movie productions, and we've all been slowly
Manipulated.
programmed
And The
to.
Matrix, right? So that
Mhm.
movie, I think, is based in truth. So our struggle is to constantly be detaching from the matrix. So when we hear things that I call fear porn, like we're all going to be living in tent cities with, a ration of water every day. I think that we have to remind ourselves that that is a huge manipulation and that we are multidimensional. And this is not all that there is, just like you travel when you're dreaming.
Mhm.
Um, we have to keep our vibe high, and we have to keep a healthy sense of humor, because some of it's so absurd. I saw this picture yesterday of our so-called administrator in chief, and it was so clear it was on a sound stage. The wall of what was supposed to be a room in the White House had like a gap, like it was a prop.
Mhm.
And I kept looking at it and looking at it, and I was like, that's a prop. So I just wish more would come out and get on with whatever the truth is, and reset of society and all of this manipulation about
Well, it's because, they're among us, okay? I mean, not everybody wants to have a happy life for whatever reason. And, I think that we both kind of know that there is dark energies out there.
there
Yeah.
are. And that's all the more reason, like, all of us in these genres have to keep a high vibe. We have to
Mhm.
resist the fear porn. We have to, use a rational mind. If it doesn't make sense, it's not true. And it's almost to the absurd point with what they would have us believe at this point, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that the gas prices and economy have to get so bad that the people who have been sleepwalking wake up,
Mhm.
wake up and look at what has been going on.
Let's just go camping and sing kumbaya and roast marshmallows and till the fields and fuck work. We're
I
just
want to learn
working the
how to
land.
fly. I want to be able to fly like a fairy. I want to learn the anti-gravity trick, you know. And that was another thing that I used to joke about. Do you remember that cartoon, The Jetsons? You know,
Uh-huh,
and
yeah.
they were all in space age, and he had a little briefcase, and he'd shake that briefcase and it'd turn into his helicopter and he'd buzz on home. And they've
Mhm.
actually, I saw a test for a flying car not long ago,
Mm.
you know. So all of this, drones really have opened a lot of doors to all that kind of, you know, having our prescriptions delivered to us by drone, or, you know, in real estate, having drones to be able to survey properties, or even for realtors, stage properties to show them for sale. Um, it's amazing the technology and how it's changing our lives. And I don't know. I battle between trying to keep really simple, down to earth, and not use all the technology to, they almost force you into using the technology just to maintain basic, um, you know, like our refuge company. You cannot get anyone on the phone. My neighbor's been having a lot of trouble with them. It's all
Mhm.
geared towards the internet. They don't want to talk to you. You know, you go through their website, and so things like that. It's almost, they almost force us to have some technology, and it's frustrating, you know. And for a lot of people, they grew up with the technology, and for some of us, we didn't. And I think I like the old ways better, the
Yeah,
older,
what
slower
happens
ways.
what happens if we don't have internet?
That's right. We have to know how to, like, do Morse code.
Well, I mean, I was talking to my cousin like the other day, and I was like, "Hey, cuz, we live in a different generation. Like when we were growing up, we had to go outside to find out what the heck was out there.
Yeah,
We didn't want to stay home. We didn't have internet.
right.
We had to go out and find it. But now it's like with technology, all you have to do is just sit in your chair or wherever you're at and just do everything from like your cell phone
Right.
or or electronical device like a computer, laptop, or whatnot. And you know um all of this technology is not healthy.
I don't think so.
It isn't. And there should be a time where you should break away from being on the computer all the time. um because it really just, I don't know. I
I think it
really am a
messes with
believer.
vision. I didn't
it,
seem to
it
have any problems with vision until I spend all day on a computer.
Well, yeah, not only that, looking at a screen, but I really feel like you have to be more grounded to natural stuff.
Yeah,
Like take a break and go into nature, and just
breathe
get
some
off.
fresh air.
Yeah, get some fresh air and ground yourself, and then you can like get back. But too much of like technology is not good for yourself or the soul or for whatever, for your health in general. I
I
really
don't think
feel
so
that.
either.
Yeah.
Maybe we should start a movement.
Uh,
Get back to nature. Take
oh,
time.
we can all do it on ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll be going out in nature. I don't know if I'm gonna like it, and I'm like, give me some AC, like.
Are you going to use an air mattress?
Yeah. So from what I know, they have like this air mattress. My parents or my brother, they claim that it's legit. I'm about to find out, but I told my brother, I said, if it's hot out there, I need an RV. Like I'm not gonna go camping and be burning out in the desert. Like that's not my
You
thing.
know, I was at dog shows this weekend, and the new little gizmo, I hadn't been to a dog show in 19 years.
That's a
And the
long
new little
time.
gizmo I saw everybody using were these lithium battery powered fans.
Mhm.
So you need a cord to charge the battery, but once you have the charged battery, and they were putting them up to the crates for the dog to blow on the dogs because it was kind of hot in the building. And so maybe you need to take with you a lithium battery fan.
I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna have to think about it because my brother said that in the canyon.
It was
Uh,
by Ryobi.
oh, really? Well, I
Mhm.
need a freaking hand tool, not a freaking fan.
Well, you're right, though. In the canyon, I think at night it's cool.
Yeah, that's what he said. Like, I don't need like an AC. I need a heater. I'm like, are you serious? Like, oh? I don't know. Um, but I heard that in Arizona it's like 100 some degrees. So,
Yeah, but maybe not the humidity.
well, that's what he said, it was dry heat. So I'm about to find out what that is. And plus, it's like monsoon season,
Oh
and I'm like,
my.
what are we getting into? Like, I hate going into territory where they're having like the worst.
Is
It's
it
like, going to the East Coast and this hurricane season is like, oh my God, we're having a hurricane. Like,
is
what?
is there a cabin to rent nearby or
It's not a cabin. We're roughing it. We're actually doing outdoor camping. It's on a lot, on a reservation. And so yeah. And I said, well, are we having like a bathroom or like are we?
a latrine?
Yeah, like there is like outdoor like facilities for the restroom and stuff. So we're not totally without. And I said, what about electricity? And he says, well, we're gonna have to use solar power. I was like, what? I said, "We need an RV. I don't know if I can do this."
That's
But
gonna be
yeah.
fun.
Well, yeah, I mean, I get to spend time with my family, and it's like I said, it's not like, back in the Smoky Mountains, and which is what I'm used to. But the desert, I don't know. We just had heat up here. It was like in the 90s, and I don't have AC. I have like a portable. It was I was roughing it. I didn't turn on the AC. I was trying to see how, like, this was like a pre-test,
Yeah,
to see if I could handle the heat,
yeah.
like, and so I was able to handle it.
Do you have humidity there?
Yeah, I mean it's humid here.
That's what
Um,
makes it kind of
so but it's not like humid like in on the East Coast, like where you're at. Like we have rain, but it's not like the
muggy.
same. Yeah, it's not the muggy type.
Yeah,
So when it's hot, it's just hot.
yeah.
It feels a little dry, you know? But I think I don't know, we have wind because we have, like, that,
Oh,
wind
right.
on the West Coast, so it does feel a little bit better, so I don't know what that is. Mm.
I don't know. I think I might just check into a Motel 6 that might be nearby that you could bug out if you had to.
I was say, "Hey, bro." I was
I
like, "Where's
know.
the nearest motel?"
I'll be back tomorrow. I'm gonna
I was
go
like,
get
Just come by, we don't have to have continental breakfast. I
yeah,
just need a bed and a air AC." Like,
in a hot shower.
yeah, the basics. But yeah,
Oh, it's gonna be beautiful.
I hope so. I only seen it from the airplane. I've never like traveled
I
to
haven't
it.
either. Yeah,
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. And plus, I was hoping to see if I can swing by Sedona.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so I don't know. It really depends on how much time I have. Shabaka says we have a Motel 8 here, which is the cheap Chinese knockoff. Hey, I'll take. I went through Wyoming, and yeah, they had. So I didn't know that baseboard heaters were a thing until I moved to the West Coast. Like I didn't know that they were still operational, but my place actually has baseboard heating. And I'm like, what is this? It's so old school. Like, but yeah, we still have that here. It was so strange. And then seeing real mountain people. I know, right? But I'm sure they didn't see my kind either. They're like, well, you're not from around here. I'm like, yeah. Like, it was strange going cross country, um, going through different towns and cities, and then like when I went through like Iowa or wherever that corn state is. I don't know what state that is. It's in the middle of the United States. I don't know. I want to say it's
Utah
I
or
no. Yeah,
oh,
it was a square state, right?
Iowa, Indiana.
Iowa is not that square. It's kind of like shaped a little bit, but what's before Wyoming? It's not
Montana.
Colorado. No. One of them states had a bunch of corn. It was so square. Like everything was in a grid. Like it's just blocks. I don't know. It's so I don't know, strange.
Hmm.
Different places in the United States are very strange, and it's so weird that even the weirdness is actually here in the United States. If you
Yeah.
haven't been to every state,
Yeah.
like East Coast is different from the West Coast, and I would not want to live in the central of the United States. Like that is not my cup of tea. I know that a lot of people who watch me on my YouTube channel, they're from the central parts, but I don't see how y'all can do it. Unless y'all are in Texas somewhere, which I don't know. But there is some ocean that you can get into. I don't know. It's so strange. But anyways, I'm going off on tangent.
That's all right.
Oh, the
When
four
I was
corners.
in the Greek islands, it was 110 degrees, but it
Mhm.
was no humidity. And the monastery that I visited, you had to be completely covered up. And it was surprisingly okay. I mean, I thought it was just going to be brutal to have to be completely covered up in that kind of heat. But because there was no humidity and you're on an island, and the breeze coming off the water, it was probably like it feels like here when it's 90 with no
And it's
humidity.
like, oh, you're in a sauna.
Yeah, yeah,
I think, well, I guess like because of the East Coast, like, is it because of the air? Like, I don't know. Why is it so muggy on that side?
well, you've got the mountains and then the shore. So I guess the way the air streams generate around
I guess most of the air is coming like off the Pacific, and then by the time it reaches like the East Coast,
the Atlantic. Yeah.
yeah, with the Atlantic, I don't know, it's so strange because I've noticed the
And then
difference.
down in Florida, it's like year round,
It's
60,
muggy.
70 degrees. It like does, we're here in Virginia, you have the changes of the season. It
Hmm.
goes south, you have less distinguishment between,
Well, I know that in Atlanta, it gets really hot and
yeah,
really cold.
yeah,
Like more so than where I'm at when I'm living up north.
right.
Like I've never seen like bone chilling temperatures. It's cold, but it's like 50s,
I
it's not
lived in
like
Buffalo, New York one time for a year,
mhm.
and it was winter like 9 months of the year. There was snow on the ground, and I was from the South, and I tell you, it was brutal getting used to that cold. I was so
Mhm.
happy to get back south. You really must develop like, a tolerance for the cold
Oh
and,
yeah.
or wherever, whatever climate you're in, I'm sure you adapt and build a tolerance for it. And
Well, I prefer now that I know what I know now, I prefer colder temperatures than the heat.
You
I
know,
don't
we used
know.
to visit family in West Virginia, and
Mhm.
the thing about the mountains is, it's noon before you see the sun because you're so high up. And so it always seems kind of overcast, but it's just the mountains, you're just way up in the mountains. And then they can have some tremendous floods and storms. Um, where my aunt used to live, there was I can't remember what the name of the storm was, but we visited like the following year and she took us downtown and like a big post office with really tall ceilings, like 30-foot ceilings. The water line was almost to the top. I mean, it had flooded this whole sort of
I've
like
heard that.
hollow. I guess you would say it was the valley or the valley between the mountains, and the water
Mhm.
from the rivers, just really intense flooding.
Here's something funny. I'm not gonna say it on a live. It's about Mountain Man,
Oh,
if you remember that.
oh, didn't I
He
call
got
him Thunder Thighs?
no, that's somebody else.
Oh,
Mountain Man got stuck up on the mountain
oh,
because of the floods and
oh,
stuff.
right, right. Oh, right. Oh, right. He had another nickname though too.
I don't know. I call him Mountain Man. Anyways, let's go
He
ahead and pull some
digress.
cards. Yeah, let's pull some cards. And I've already shuffled my deck over here. So we should start with who? Aries.
Aries,
Okay.
the children of the zodiac.
All right.
The head,
So
face, Mars. Oh, so we're talking about a water Cancer moon.
mhm.
Aries is fire, and I'm getting rest.
Oh, interesting. I have imagination.
It says you've been working hard, take a nap and get some rest. So
Yeah, this
also with the
one.
Jupiter squaring Mars, Mars ruling Aries, that's very stressful for the Aries. And yours is so take some dreams and use your imagination, do some remote viewing.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, this is what it says. Envision a new reality. Give yourself permission to dream. Believe in unlimited possibilities. Get some rest.
Aries, it's
Yeah.
nap time.
Yeah, stop doing what you're
Take a
doing.
break. Take a
Yeah.
break.
All right. So after Aries is
Taurus,
okay, Taurus.
fixed earth.
Mm,
That would be the throat area, throat chakra.
okay.
It says, accept heaven's help.
Okay, and I have intention.
This says, you've prayed for help, so get out of the way and let heaven help you, Taurus. Stop being so stubborn.
And then I say be clear and decisive. Focus on what you really want. Be bold with your request to the universe.
Be
Wow.
bold.
Yeah. So are you being stubborn? Set your intentions and ask for a universe to help.
There is a Taurus stellium during this new moon with Uranus, the North Node, and Ceres. So that could be readdressing something from a past life or some sort of fated encounter.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay.
Taurus.
So after Taurus, we have
The twins, Gemini,
okay.
air,
Hmm,
mutable.
interesting. I have balance. Take time to relax, indulge a little more or less, set boundaries with your work.
This is treasure chest. It says, an unforeseen windfall of new abundance comes to you now.
Wow, you just have to find balance and set your boundaries with your work. So I think you're onto something, Gemini.
Yeah.
You just have to really be balanced in your situation, and I think it's going to work out for you. But you have to relax too at the same time. Interesting.
Yeah, Gemini gets spread a little thin. They're disseminating all kinds of information. So maybe slowing down a little bit for the new moon and absorb information as opposed to disseminating it.
Okay.
And then Cancer,
Cancer.
new moon. I get playtime.
Oh.
Playtime.
And I have innocence. And it says, take time to play.
All right.
Nurture your inner child and live like a childlike sense of wonder. Aw.
I love that. This says, the dolphins know the importance of playing as joy creates miracles and manifestation.
So, be innocent, play. Maybe play with Aries. I don't know if you're dealing with any Aries. Sounds like y'all can get together. Sounds like a plan. So next is Leo.
Fixed fire and water. That can either be very unbalanced or a fine line to balance water and fire to make steam.
Well, I have here nature. It says, ground yourself, find a sanctuary in nature, and connect with the elementals.
Oh, I have pay attention. Notice repetitious signs and your inner guidance, as this can yield valuable information.
Maybe, Leo, if you take time out in nature and ground yourself, there's something that you need to see.
Some intuition.
Like go out in nature and you're going to find that whatever that you so seek. Interesting. Connect with the elementals. So not only nature, I guess everything, right? Like air, water, fire,
Earth,
and earth.
Yeah.
I
and
like
the
it.
fairies and the unicorns.
I think Leo is trying to hide from something too.
Yeah.
They're like kind of being bashful.
Yeah, they are bashful, very shy. That's the paradox of Leo. They love theatrics, but are actually very shy.
I know.
Virgo is next.
Okay. I have magic. Make a wish, believe in miracles, and magic surrounds you. Interesting. And here's a fairy.
I love fairies. This is contemplation time. Spend time alone, meditating upon what you truly desire.
Well, they do enough of that anyways.
More analysis paralysis.
I know. Spend some time and make a wish and then believe in the miracle. Okay. It should happen, but you need to take time for yourself.
Yes. So then we have Libra. Cardinal air. So I got stay optimistic. Your dreams are coming true. Don't quit right before the miracle occurs.
And then I have polarity. Integrate your shadow side. There could be no light without dark. Understand the law of polarity. Wow, interesting.
That's a good one. We've been talking a lot about the light and dark.
And, and Libra is all about balance. So there's something about the dark side, which is, kind of fitting for this new moon, right?
Black moon, what Lilith, right? It's conjunct the
Hmm.
new moon. So it's not all fairies and unicorns.
Welcome to the dark
Might be
side.
some trolls in there.
Yeah. Uh,
So we have Scorpio,
all right, Scorpio.
fixed water.
Hmm. I have past lives. Release your past life karma. You are an old soul with deep wisdom. Healing your past lives will raise your vibration.
Oh, this is blessed change. A major life change brings you great blessings.
Wow. So heal your karma, and there's something new that's coming towards you. Just let go. Just let go,
That's
Scorpio.
hard for Scorpio to do. They like to control things.
I know, right? All right.
Then we have the Archer Sag.
Okay. Hmm. I have awareness. Live in the moment. Be conscious of your thoughts. Look for signs and guidance. Wow.
Oh, and
I
I have
like it.
ready, set, go. Now is the perfect moment to dive in and embrace your heart's desire. So go
Very
for it,
interesting.
Sag.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to stay at home. You know what you're doing, you know where you're going.
Go on one of those outings, swim with the dolphins thing.
Yeah. Riding on an orca for all.
Yeah.
Don't sit on the spout, though. That's not the right place. Unless you need a douche.
I
On
was
the
going to
water.
say, I wasn't going to say, but all right. We have Capricorn.
Okay. Cappy. Let's see
Yeah.
here. Where are you? There you go. I have action. Now is the perfect time to act. Take inspired action towards your dreams. Move forward with confidence.
And this is morning affirmations. Say positive affirmations each morning to open the gates of manifestation.
Wow, so Cappy, you take action if you want to manifest something, and whatever you think of in the morning after, go for it. Okay? So when you wake up, be inspired and take action. But make your like your manifestations tonight because we have the new moon. And
Yes.
then when you wake up, see what comes to you. Go for it. All right.
It
So,
is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Age of Aquarius. Whoa!
oh, well, I have adventure. Dare to do things differently. Manifest your travel dreams. Move to a new location. Wow, that sounds good.
And this says self employment. You're a born entrepreneur and your business is surrounded by magical opportunities.
Well, Aqua, like wherever you're doing, if you have like a business plan, like you can do this. You can be like your own boss. Move to a new place if you can. And do things different than what you're normally used to doing. Maybe in regards to employment, also, like employment possibilities.
And to take a baby step, just try taking a different route to point A or B.
I mean, this could be a side hustle too, you know. That's what I'm feeling.
And we have Pisces
Pisces.
with Neptune stationing retrograde today.
Let's see what Pisces is into. Well, we have receive. Be open to receiving goodness. Believe that you're worthy of abundance. A gift is coming to you soon. That's beautiful.
Look at this. It's you're being helped. Heaven is working behind the scenes to help you, even if you don't see results yet.
Okay, so I mean, if you're in La La Land and you're like, I don't know. Yes, yes. Just be open to receive. You are being helped right now. That's actually beautiful.
Yeah.
Does that apply for Venus, Pisces people?
Venus is Taurus. I'm not
Is
sure what
it?
you're asking.
Oh no, because my placement is in Pisces with
Oh,
Venus.
sure. Yeah. For you personally,
It
not
received love.
not as a collective and money. Venus is love and money.
Okay, I'll take both.
Yeah.
Shit. I'll take anything I can get.
Well, you're going to get a great vacation,
Mhm. Mhm.
and you're going to get more and new information on your son.
Mhm.
And it's summer, so people seem to be more active. Let's see. Trying to think. Our full moon is in Capricorn, so that's your sun, July 13th. So that should bring in a lot of opportunities and
Oh, that's when I'm flying out on the
on
13th.
on the 13th.
Yeah.
Well, you're flying out on a full moon holding hands with your son.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, what about you, honey? You gotta go live on your own. Like,
Well, you'll have to fill me in on what I need to do.
we have to do some do some tests and
Yeah.
stuff to see how we can do it. And if not, I can go remote
Yeah.
and I can remote in a different location. We can do it that way. Because I'll be there like by the afternoon and I might be able to do like an evening.
Well, it is up to you. It is in your hands to be
Okay,
the
well,
director and what you would like to do.
and maybe I'll show people like where I'm at and see what, you know,
Yeah.
the
You can
desert looks
We
like.
can live vicariously through you with your vacation.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna have mixed feelings about this
Just
one.
be careful on those hiking trails because I see all these crime stories of people that get pushed over the edge.
That's my brother pushing me over.
Just be careful.
I'm in good hands. My brother, he's locked and loaded. He's the one with the AK-47s
Oh,
and
so a little
like,
target practice, maybe?
oh yeah, he's well equipped. Like he is gun happy.
Well, if I'm going to be out in nature, I certainly would want that.
Yeah, he has a concealed carry and open carry, I believe. He has it all. So,
Well, I just went through the process for the first time of renewing my concealed carry permit. It doesn't
I
expire
heard it's
for a little while,
mhm.
but I was out at the courthouse renewing my notary. So I asked the lady, I was like, hey, can I do this now too? And so it's like 4 months ahead, but she goes, you're within the time period to renew. And of course, we've had all of this news lately of the Second Amendment. So it was nice to feel like I was in a friendly county courthouse. She goes,
Well,
yeah, sure, you can do that now. It's like, okay,
get it while you can
that's
before
right.
things change. No, yeah, I really have a sense, like a premonitious feeling that, something may happen.
Oh,
That might
cancel
be a
clear.
that might be yeah, I know,
Alt
right?
control delete.
But, like, Imma live in the moment.
Well, it's hard for Cappy to take a break and go on vacation, right?
I know.
You're
I
always in
never
work
go on
mode,
vacation.
but I think it's exciting. Y'all are doing something different and a
Mhm.
new place you've never been, and you can tell us all about it.
Yeah, I get to meet my niece. I can't wait to see her,
How old
and,
is she now?
she's 5 months.
5 months. Wow, they're brave to travel with a young baby like that.
Mhm. Well, she's a Capricorn, so she can handle it.
Yeah.
But, my brother, he's in the medical field, so is my, sister-in-law. She's a nurse, and my brother is also he's, studying to become a PA, actually.
So
So
you're in good hands.
mhm, yeah. We're protected, and plus we have medical help.
You
But
have
then my brother
medical
could be like a
and
brother and be like, Can you breathe?" I'm like, "Yes, asshole, like, give me something." I could and plus, it's so ironic because my brother also worked with mental health patients
oh
in
my
the
goodness.
hospital. So
So if
he
you have some crazy person in the canyon, you're also covered.
yeah. He also tells me, he's listen, "Hey, if you see something, don't talk about it." I'm like, "Why?"
Chewbacca says, beware of stones getting thrown at you or a bad smell. It's Sasquatch. And she's inquiring about my new work. I've been laid off. I was there 90 days and she laid me off, and I'm currently seeking employment. It's so much fun.
So if you guys are like a business owner and you could use Sunny as your personal astrologer, or you need
Yes. Yes.
well shit, you know a little bit about law, and
Yes.
if you guys need any kind of like legal, like closing on houses and stuff, hey, let her do that for you
Send me an
guys.
email at lionmountainhealing@gmail.com, and I will try
Mhm.
to provide you top notch service on any inquiry.
Mhm. And plus, she has been a paralegal at one point, right? Or is that
Yes.
like your, yeah. So if you guys need legal advice,
I'll
she's your
tell you an
go-to.
interesting story.
Mhm.
So I always refer to the book Megatrends 2000, which is somewhere in this house, and I will eventually dig it out to show you guys. And it came out in the 90s with what social trends we should be looking forward to in the next 1,000 years. And one of them was that there would be no attorneys. And I live in an area that's concentrated with law schools and lots of attorneys. So that was
Mhm.
sort of laughable to me. And what I've noticed, I've been in the legal field for 40 years. And what I've noticed as a trend is that paralegals and first year law students are basically the same. Like law firms hire first year law students, lawyers new out of school to do the same thing paralegals do. So I've noticed over the years there's a little more competitive job market. So um, the Megatrends 2000 said the trend will be legal clinics, that instead of law firms and lawyers, there would be clinics set up to help people take care of their business.
Mhm.
And it's already been going on for a few years, where you might have one building that is your real estate agent, your closing title people, your bank,
Oh,
your
now they're
caterer,
all in one,
yeah, your
right?
caterer for your new open house, and the person that does draperies or interior design. So
Mhm.
it's already been working towards this one stop shop kind of apparatus. We're in this very shaky kind of, hold on tradition. And then, like everywhere in our world, things are evolving and changing and finding new ways to do things.
Mhm.
Well,
Mhm.
I was a self employed paralegal for over 20 years, and I battled charges a couple of different times, being accused of the unauthorized practice of law. And this was years ago, and it never amounted to anything, but attorneys just didn't want anybody, competing for their fees. Well, I was just trying to find work. That was at my first solar return.
Mm-hmm.
I was laid off. Real estate market went down, and I couldn't find a job. So I started my own business. Never expected it to go as long as it did, but it did. And then in 2011, when the real estate market dropped again, I shut my business. And I've been back in the workforce on staff places for the last 12 years or so, 10 years. And here I am, just I'm a couple of years out of my second Saturn return, but Saturn's very slow. So I mean, some of those things can kind of linger. And
Residual. Mm-hmm.
I would love to open a legal clinic. And I have been doing research about trying to find grants that would support that kind of thing. I'm in a region that's going to be the last people in the world to give up the lawyers. If I went more Midwest, where there's fewer attorneys, it would be more feasible. But
Oh,
it's just interesting.
honey. Oh.
Oh, thank you, Shabaka. That's a nice, it's your thing. The world. Thank you.
Yeah, I was about to say we need to have a discussion about that. I didn't realize that. I can help you.
Well, it's all about capital. It's all about having the startup. Uh, when I started a business in 1989, I had $300 and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't need any capital. If I'm looking at setting up shop, um, it takes having
Well,
a building.
can you work in a remote location and then start from there?
That's another trend. Interesting that you brought that up, because
Mhm.
mainly what I've been doing for a few years is commercial real estate, which is
Mhm.
leasing and office buildings and more commercial work as opposed to residential.
Mhm.
And the trend has been, with all of these empty office buildings, management companies will rent a office for a day, right? They'll rent
Mhm.
out part of a building, like people who travel for their work. They don't
Right.
need to have an office all the time, but they might need an office for a week.
Mhm.
I forget what it's called. There's a term for that.
Like co location or
Leasing.
co office. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's
Yeah.
one of those office environments where you lease or rent the same office space.
Yes. And yes,
Mhm.
I am queen. I did get and I responded to you. So you should have a response from me on that.
Mhm. I would say, Sunny, let's have a discussion on that.
We'll do
Maybe,
it.
yeah, I don't think you need capital. You
I
have
really
me.
want to get my website and astrology, and doing the vintage jewelry and antiques is really what I want to do. Um,
Mhm.
so I'm working on that. And um,
Let's do that, and then let's work on your idea
yeah,
for the legal stuff.
so the line between practicing law, not as a licensed attorney and not, in different areas where there are clinics, is if they're government forms, right? They're forms like for adoption or name change or um, file warrant in debt. If they're a government form, you're just assisting someone completing that form.
Mhm.
You're not representing them and giving them a legal opinion.
Mhm.
So that's kind of where it's been. But I just, I just think that that's the trend, because even, um, something that I never saw 20, 25 years ago were law firms shutting their doors. And over the last 10 to 15 years in this area, law firms have actually gone out of business. And you used to never see that. And, the internet has brought so much self sufficiency to people, that if you can go
Mhm.
online and get the form you need, wills and estates, for instance, or a simple divorce and name change, things like that. You can even go into office supply places and buy forms, legal forms to complete, right? Real
Mhm.
estate contracts. And so there's been this trend of people taking their power back, and not some of the firms I've worked at, those attorneys charge $650 an hour. And it really is sacrilege. And it's really a lot of corruption. And I do know this time around, um, I don't want to go to another law firm. I, I just, it doesn't sit well with me to see some of the stuff that goes on that's just not right.
No, I've known you long enough and I've heard it. And it's like going back into the lion's den, you know. And I know how you come back out. You're like, "Rah,"
I
you
know.
know,
It's
like
like, they force feed you all this ethics stuff, and then they turn around and break ethics. And,
Mhm.
I live in a really old historic town. So you still have a lot of, um, what do they call it? Sexual harassment. I'm too old. They don't harass me anymore, but you see it with the young girls and the older attorneys, and when I was young and working in a big law firm 40 years ago, um, I was married, so I guess I was left alone, but I would see other young girls. They were almost, it was a coercion of sorts, like I have a very specific thing that I do, basically accounting of real estate transactions. But with like the young girls that were more clerical,
Mhm.
they were scared that if they didn't do what their boss was asking them to do, they'd lose their job.
Mhm.
People that did what I do, they kind of left alone because we do the finances part and they need people like that. And, but yeah, I got out of downtown for a long time, and then I've been back in the last several years, and it's no different. Other than there's fewer, and people places have been shutting down or merging. Used to never see law firms merge, and right now there's several big mergers of large old law firms going on. And
Mhm.
so I know a few things about what I don't want. I told you I got an offer today from the buddy of the woman who laid me off, which is
Mhm.
just too weird. They're both young divas and very condescending to older people. And I'm grateful to get an offer, but I just told her that I'm still interviewing and going to take my time because, and I mean this sincerely, I'm not a person to hop around. I do want to find a place that is a good fit, and that,
Mhm.
I'm even thinking maybe part-time, and then get my astrology business up and running more consistently, and paste a few things together, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
we're all changing in how, like, I come from a generation of you go to work one place and you stay your entire life and retire. And, that's not how it is anymore. You might move around some, and you might patch a couple of different income sources together. So
Mhm.
I'm just going on faith. It's a test of faith.
Well, I think that who was the sign that was supposed to go for it and be like their own entrepreneur? Was it Aqua or Aquarius? I don't know if you have any of
Aquarius, which
that.
is opposite my Leo sun. So that's the Aquarius Leo axis. And I'm very Aquarian. I mean, that is the astrologer.
Yeah.
I keep getting that message subliminally. I've been
I mean, if
self-employed.
there's nobody else out there, you do it for yourself. And
Right.
plus, I think that we're all being brainwashed and programmed from even childhood that we're supposed to, like, work for an employer and not really be the employer, you know?
Well, and it's so messed up, the different interviews I've gone on and the different views of being vaccinated, right?
That
So
topic.
in my little pea brain, that's my private information. I
Mhm.
call it medical tyranny when they're trying to force it on people. And I don't, I, I believe in my natural immunity. So that's my position. So I don't want to be asked about it. Certainly not going to do it to keep a job or take a job.
Mhm.
So the place that made me an offer today, she gave people money to get vaccinated.
Oh, that was
And
the incentive.
yeah. And then another place that I was very, very,
Is it
very, very,
$10,000?
it was probably 100, but there was
Nah,
a place that
that's
I was
okay.
really excited about working. It was a historic hotel doing accounting. It was
Mm.
out of the law firm field. It was in a beautiful place. And I just
Think
thought,
about
well,
the
this is it.
hotel as a revolving door.
Well, it's mandated. You have to be vaccinated to work there. And
Mm.
every day when you go through your door to go to your job, they put the app on your phone to see if you've been exposed and they take your temperature. And I'd had this great conversation with this director and I was so excited. I was like, this is like a breath of fresh air. This is what I need. And when he brought that up, I just was like, oh no, 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 no. As much as I would like that job, no.
Mhm.
And today, over in England, was the first payout of a settlement from a woman who was injured from the vaccination. So we're seeing more and more class action suits from people who have been damaged by this.
So
And
what is the extent? Because like I question it, the same thing because the same thing happened to autistic children.
mhm,
So when autism was, like first, like, being introduced into the mainstream and, there was recognition that, the certain vaccine was, doing stuff, to their children, there was a cutoff time for that. Now, they've been provided, protection from the government that, you know, it's okay. Like, they don't have to pay
hmm,
for the if you have symptoms of autism.
mhm.
And
I would have to research that because another element going on in the workforce is human resources and a
mhm.
connection that I've made recently because I just think I would be a natural at human resources. I've done it as a self-employed person and I have temped a lot, been in a lot of different work environments and I understand people and I have applied for a few of those jobs. But one of the things that really irks me is it's become very political. It's no longer about the health, safety, and welfare of an employee in a work environment. It's about who's your candidate, what's their platform, and
Are they
trying.
asking that?
It's not, they don't ask, but the way they
Frame
maneuver.
frame
Yeah.
questions and
Hmm.
stuff?
Right. So
She
I would like to break into that kind of genre to bring back, the good old fashioned, like, you know, getting along and respecting each other regardless of your opinions or your views. We're here as a team
Mhm.
to work, to do a job, and what you feel politically shouldn't even
Now
be part of it.
let's do a consensus. Which, affiliation are the ones that are asking the questions? No.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Virginia was blue for a long time.
Uh,
So,
mm,
but it's just been, you know, I've been through 40 years in this town, in this industry. So
Mhm.
I have seen this progression. And I don't like we're talking about being so much on computers. It's not healthy. It's not
Mhm.
been a healthy progression of how human resources has gone, at least in the legal community. And
Mhm.
people don't stay at places the way they used to. Um,
Well, I think like for HR, it's kind of you have to have a level of patience also, right?
yeah. Well, it's just where I've worked in the law firms with HR. It's billable hours. It's the bottom
Mm.
line spreadsheet. Whatever that attorney or partner wants to do to generate the income, it doesn't matter what the environment is, whether there's
Mm.
sexual harassment or toxic
So they're
behavior.
playing the numbers game too.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Mm.
it's interesting. It's an interesting new chapter. Um, and I'm trying to be open minded and creative about it. And
Mhm.
I got severance pay. So I've been able to take some time to breathe because I haven't had any kind of vacation for many, 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 many years. And so I've just been kind of decompressing and reflecting and really want to figure out. I mean, when you look at it, I don't really have that many years left to work.
I don't know. Whenever I have some time, I know, right? We'll figure it out. Let's talk on the side and tell me about the whole other aspect of what you were thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the question, Shabaka, and sharing it with you. It's been a sort of a gut punch, and I'm just trying to weather the storm.
Whatever it is temporary.
Yes, yes, yes. And that's another thing I've done a lot. I actually worked on staff at a temp agency. So I've
Mhm.
done a lot of placing people in jobs. And I actually like that because, if you're somewhere and you don't like it, you're only there temporarily.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I think the bottom line is I was self-employed a really long time, and I kind of have a unique energy level. I'm a morning person. I'll work really hard most of the day, but then I kind of run out of energy and want to decompress. But then late at night, I might get a second wind,
Mhm.
and that's my natural sort of cycle. And so, when you're self employed, you can do whatever hours suit you.
Yeah, I've been doing it for years.
Hmm.
I think a couple decades.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, it's
It's
been
very hard to go back onto staff in that environment after you've been self employed.
well, I tried and nobody wanted me. I was like, okay, well, I'll just keep
Well,
doing what I'm
that's kind of
doing.
how I'm feeling right now. I'm getting these really like low ball kinds of offers that I'm like, I am too old
Mhm.
to
Deal with that.
be made to feel like that.
Mhm.
I just haven't found the right fit. And so,
Well, I think that we should go with this gut feeling. Let's
yes,
just call it like that.
yes.
And you can just keep perusing, and see what else is out there. But
You
I
know,
think,
I love the yard and yard work. I've applied a couple of flower shops. Like, if I just had something part time, to keep some money, steady money coming in, that would be helpful to, developing my own business. Neither one were hiring. And do you have a Lowe's out there, Lowe's Hardware?
mhm, mhm.
So that's right down the street from me. I don't want to have to spend a lot of gas money to go to a part time job, right?
Mhm.
So I might go,
Maybe you could offer doing landscaping.
yeah. Well, herb gardening, yeah,
Yeah.
companion planting. That used to be part of my seminars was what herbs plant together to produce more because you're doing organically, right? And there's just
Mm.
certain plants that help each other pollinate to produce more. So, another weird thing from the past coming back around, I used to do readings at a gift shop at this shopping center nearby, and they left to go to a
Place.
bigger place further away. And that
Mhm.
lady owned that place. I don't know. Because I'm also a Medicare agent. I do her Medicare insurance, and she's like 82 now. And she started that business. She left corporate America at age 65 to open a new age bookstore. And ironically, the woman who bought it from her has moved back to the original older place near me. I haven't been in there yet, but because I just been doing other things. But yeah, it's weird how things come back around after all those years. But I'm gonna go up there and talk to her. I can't work there because I just spend money at a place like that. I don't make any money. That's where I have
Yeah.
all these jewelry and tarot decks. Work in a new age bookstore, you'll never make any money.
You'll be all right. That's how I feel about my own products. I'm like, oh, I like my own stuff.
Right, right.
And I keep using it up, but
Well,
but
it'll
yeah,
work out.
it will. Yeah, I think we need to have like a little powwow session offline.
Well, every day I've been trying to find that tutorial that you sent me for uploading stuff to Lion Mountain Healing. And so I've been getting that slowly but surely together. And I'm trying, what takes so long is, like a lot of it's sterling silver. So I wanted to clean it. Then a lot of it might have stones in it. So I want in the description to talk about maybe what chakra it's related to or some of the healing properties. So all of that kind of like takes time, and
Yeah,
then
it does. And you probably got like a whole bunch. I would say just go for title, description, just a brief description. You don't have to talk about the whole chakras and
yeah,
stuff, and just get it up.
get it
When
up.
you have time and it's been sitting up there,
Yeah.
then go back and polish up the
Oh,
description.
that's a good idea to go back and edit. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's if you have like a lot. I mean, because I know what you mean. I'm a perfectionist myself, and I'll probably have a spreadsheet
Sometimes
of
it
it.
can block you from moving forward because you're trying to you want it just right, you want just the right pieces in the right order, and then when we talk about
Just take a
categories,
pretty picture and then put it up
yeah,
with a good title tag or whatever description it is. Okay, and then write the specs and then go back to it.
yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
That way you could just get it up there because somebody just like, "Oh, that looks nice," and they'll just get it because they like it.
um
Not
I did download the instructions for starting an Etsy shop.
mhm.
So you know, for someone that doesn't have a job, I've been busy, but I will have to confess, I've been doing a lot of yard work. I'm just trying to
That's
work
okay,
off,
honey. I
yeah,
mean,
just trying to
you're
work
in
off
there
my
in your element.
frustration, and the way the lady let me go was very, very bad and
Mhm.
poorly done. I didn't say anything and don't want to say anything, but the way it was just a very condescending,
No, it was a slap out of like it was a side knockout. Like what the heck was
it was
that?
definitely a gut punch. I was getting along fine with the other like male attorneys, but she she just did not.
All I remember you telling me is like, "Yeah, she's on a vacation again." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Wow." Like,
Well,
does
he
she
told
work?
me, he said she works to vacation. And I think every time she had to cut me a paycheck, she was seeing funds from her vacation fund diminish. And that ultimately was, she let me go the last day that she could get a refund from the recruiter. So that was pretty telling right there. And the recruiter was mortified. She was like, I can't believe she did this, and I feel terrible for you. And she's been setting up interviews for me, but they're at law firms. And
Is
I,
she like looking for a replacement?
no, no,
Because all I know is that, well, you weren't a good fit. Like,
yeah,
what do you mean by that?
yeah,
What,
yeah.
you weren't
No,
a good
she's
fit
not
for
trying
her
to fire
budget?
anybody.
Like, because
I'm,
that's the only thing I can think of. I know she's cutting corners just like everyone else that is
I,
an employer.
I really think it was an experiment. I didn't know it at the time, but I really
Mhm.
think it was an experiment. And I also moved a really large client to her from the retired guy. So it seemed like once that was in place, I was no longer needed.
Kinda like
Yeah.
the
Used
other
you for
guy.
what I needed to use you for, and bye bye. And it's all
Mhm.
good. It's all okay. I didn't really care for her in the first place, but um, the recruiter, who's been a very good friend, and but she really just deals in law firms, and I think it hasn't been said between us, but I really just don't think I want to do another law firm. I've done a lot of them, and I don't want to have to go because I need a paycheck. I want to go to work because I genuinely am
You wanna
engaged.
do
And
it.
yeah,
Mhm.
and
Well, I would sit and think about it. And how do you feel, right? This whole thing is about how do you feel about,
yeah,
and really be in your integrity and
my
honesty
Cancer
and
moon feelings.
yes, and use your gut instinct. Like, how do you really feel about that? I mean, are you lying to yourself about
Yeah,
like going into like, a situation or, I think it's a test
yeah,
because if you do take on that job, you're gonna end up in the same predicament.
right.
But, I would say if you tough it out, I think something else will come to you. You just have to apply
Well,
your
I tell you,
time.
I had an interview Friday. I'm kind of excited about because it's remote. It's totally work at home,
Mhm.
and but damn, there's like four interviews. I've been through two. If I make it to the third one, then there's a fourth one. And I'm like, and he told me, he's like, now this could take a month. And so I'm letting it go. It's in the God's hands.
Most big companies, they have 4 interviews.
Yeah. Well,
Because I know
it's
my ex-husband, he got an interview. I think it was for, I think it was for Microsoft, to be honest. And he went for 4 interviews and stuff, and he was like, all this and that, and
yeah,
he got it, and he answered all the questions, and so basically they get like the top people to get in and interview that person to see, about their like their skill sets and stuff, trying to go at all angles, getting different people from different, I guess, departments to see like
right,
how this person could interact with different types of people. And that's who they're looking for to fill that space. So
right.
I would say if you could work remote and tell them, like, what they need to hear,
Well,
then I
I've
think
been
you'll
through
be
the
alright.
HR part. I've been through who would be my boss part. And
Mhm.
there's two guys on the team. I'm waiting to hear if I get set up with that. And if that works, then the final is the big cheese of the whole company. So we'll see.
Okay, well, I hope that one works out.
It'd be nice to work at home because I could still do some things on the side. It's more convenient.
Mhm. Okay, yeah. All right, honey. Well,
It's a saga ongoing.
your ex quit Microsoft to work for Google. Yeah, that happens. My ex-husband quit Microsoft, but he worked for AT&T now, and now he's living in near LA
I
on the
worked at a
beach.
law firm that represented Google, and my job was to help with the data centers, the land that they would build these. It was, what's that saying? It was the energy unicorn, an armor plated energy unicorn with a cloak of invisibility. That's how they describe a Google data center.
Hmm.
And so,
All
yeah,
I know, the stocks are pretty good still at
yeah,
Google.
yeah, that's big business.
Yeah, they have my business too. They pay my
Shubham,
paycheck.
you're so funny. You know what frustrates me is the technology. It doesn't come natural to me. I
Mhm,
don't
that's
know why.
why she's
Yeah.
here with me.
Yeah. I
I'm
wish I
here to behind the
enjoyed it
scenes
or liked it.
supporting her.
It's like I don't know. I'd rather be outside digging in the dirt.
That's okay.
We'll figure it
So,
out.
yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to get offline now. It's dinner
You're gonna
time.
fix dinner, aren't you?
Yeah,
Is it
my
time
son's
for
been
dinner?
cooking. I smell it. So he's been
Ah,
doing a good thing by helping out with dinner for this evening, but I have
well,
to cook my
we'll
dinner.
reconvene before your vacay and figure out
Yes.
what we're doing.
Well, we're gonna have to because we're gonna have to figure out the full moon, and
Yes.
also I want to talk about your
My
thing.
next career move.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Because honestly, with my line of work, I listen to people and their business, and I'm very good at it. Like that's why they
I
call me
do
Lady
not
Luck.
doubt that.
Yeah, like back in my day, I was very passionate towards people who have motivation to work
Yeah.
on whatever business, and the ideas they come to me
I do
really
think
easy.
it's, a trend corporately that people do want to do what makes them happy and not just what pays the bills.
Yeah, because
Part of the
it comes to you.
reconstruction. Yeah.
Hmm.
And it's good. It's all good. It's just, yeah,
You have
keeping
to
the
like
lights
put
on in the
your
meantime.
yeah. Well, you have to
Keeping
put
the
your energy
house that
in.
has the lights that keeps the lights on.
You're protected, honey. You'll be all right.
Yeah, I'm good about saving money, so I have always been saving for a rainy day. I never took for granted any of these positions, so we're okay right now.
Okay. Well, I hope I can help you.
Well, I hope you have a good time getting ready for your vacation, and we'll figure out a time to talk. And
Okay.
I want to thank everybody in the chat for your encouragement and kind words and time tonight. And
Yeah, if you guys want to book a reading with Sunny, go ahead and
I
go
have
for it.
plenty of time right now.
Yeah, linemountainhealing.com. Yes, I,
Yeah.
I have here behind me. This
Oh,
is
yeah,
the
you do.
the love chart that you did for me. Hold on, let
The
me pull it out.
astrocartography. You've rearranged or something, or your camera angle is different.
It is different. It's straight at my face.
Okay.
Normally, I don't do this because I read cards, and so I can't be like doing this all the time, right? So I have the camera angle going top down, or it's usually at the side, so you can see me, so I could pull up the cards and show people. But that's the whole reason why I never have this camera angle. Y'all know I go to Subway, right? Anyway.
Yes.
So this is what I received from Sunny, and I highlighted the important parts. So that's
Oh,
basically
okay.
my Venus.
What is
Um,
this that not actually my name is saying?
what is
So
go eat?
There was a super chat. What about my super chat? Let's see. I told you to wait until the end. You already knew that, how it works when Sunny is on. So I think, is she saying she paid a super chat and asked a question? Can I go back up here and figure out what that is?
Who said it?
Not my name.
Oh, not actually. Oh, okay. I think it's really for me. So she has a thing with her and her man, Crispy.
So
I
wasn't
kind
it green in the chat when it came up? I saw it out of the
of.
corner of my eye.
She said, "This is like no biggie, but if you can, um,
I'm still
you know,
looking for it.
it's in the very, very
Oh, here we
beginning.
go.
Do you? Okay, right here. Question, no pressure. Will Crispy and I get back together within a year or longer? I don't know really, but curious because I want to move on accordingly. Well, by the looks of your little stuff, because I've been reading your public post, you're like, I'm good. I'm doing well. Like I'm not attached to Crispy, you know. So I think you're on the right track. Um, I mean,
Well,
if
and
you're
we did, I think we did address this when we were talking about, if your person is not ready to make the same commitment on the same page as you are, we, we don't have any choice but to keep moving forward and trying to live our lives and to find peace and contentment. We can't wait for someone to figure out what they want or to try everybody else first or
Well,
whatever
the
it
thing
is.
is that he'll come back and he'll be in an apologetic mood, but then it'll be the same cycle over and over. Also, Crispy has mama issues. He's a mama's boy, and him and mama always do everything, and he's a grown man. That's the whole issue.
I just wanted to make sure that when I saw this, what about that? Plus or minus year, 6 months, plus or minus. So I would say don't think about linear time.
Hmm. Like, let go of the timing and just be in the present
Right.
because
Right.
it could change.
Yeah.
Um,
And time is just that in our mind. It's not out in the ethers.
hmm If you let go of the whole timing aspect, then whatever is supposed to happen is supposed to happen.
So here's some quantum physics on that.
Mhm.
If you have two magnets and you have them both positive polarities trying to put them together, they will not go together. It's
Mhm.
not until you reverse one of the polarities that they come together.
Mhm.
So in relationships, you have to detach. You
Yeah.
can't force anybody to do anything they don't want to do.
Mhm.
And the more detached you are, then it allows the energy to flow naturally as opposed to you're trying to force something that's not ready. It's like baking a cake, it's not ready yet. And
Right.
so, yeah, don't worry about the time and do things that make you happy, that do
Yeah, it's
things
not
that
about like,
demonstrate
will he come back? Hey, if he comes back, that's good. I guess. If not, that's okay too. That's the whole part about letting go of attachment is like living in the moment and being free. And when you experience that level of freedom, you know how to be happy. You don't have to rely on Crispy to, be in that I guess what do you call it? Having expectations that Crispy and you are going to like finally get married and have a happily, ever
traditional. Yeah,
yeah, a
traditional.
traditional relationship with children and things like that. Um, I know, right? But
Well, it's important that whether you're married or single or cohabitating, that you have your own solid core of beliefs and practices, meditation, spiritual work, mind, body, soul balance. Because reality of it is we come into this life alone, we leave this life alone. So those times when you're alone, you have to be able to be okay that way.
Mm-hmm.
And we all get lonely. We all get, missing what we think we want or didn't have or whatever it
It
is.
does take time to reprogram how you
Yeah.
think about life and relationships, you know?
And also taking the time to, how do you want your partner to treat you? When they
Mhm.
come into your life, if he comes back, having spent time, like, what do you want out of the relationship? You know,
She's experiencing right now because I see that she's not happy. The
I'm
last thing I
sorry.
heard was that, they had, "Oh, no kids? You're fixed?" Yeah, they have a dog, and I think that rubbed her the wrong way, that, Crispy and her mama, his mama were gonna have a dog together. You know? It's like, "Oh, we're having a like a" and you're like and I can imagine with her, she's like, "Well, okay, what about us? Like,
Yeah.
can we have a dog together? Or, like, when are you gonna leave your house?" You know? I think that that was the whole situation with her, right?
It's just so challenging. It's quite common, actually, that people don't end up on the same page together. It's more rare that people do. Um, but you can't hold on to, like you said, the expectation or put your life on hold because that, oh, I know, it just came to my mind. There's a theory about, women and the waiting time loop, that for 1,000 years, women have always waited on their men. They waited for them to go hunt and come back. They waited on them to go to war and come back. So, again, on a quantum physics level, women have this natural tendency to wait on their men. And
Mhm.
we're in times where all of that is getting deconstructed and, no waiting. There's no waiting. Life is chaotic, and we all have to work on having a positive mental attitude and do the things that are best for our own sense of peace and well-being. And anytime you hang your happiness on someone else to make you happy, you're going to end up disappointed because things happen. um, and that's just human nature.
Mhm.
So the more we can feel solid on our own, then the more we bring to a relationship as well, because no one wants that heavy responsibility of, but I need you to make me happy. I mean, that's putting a lot on somebody. So,
Or maybe feeling, like in a place of lack, like maybe you're feeling like you're not good enough for somebody, and
right.
then projecting, like, "Oh, well, you don't like me,"
That's
or
another one. Yeah.
yeah, so it can go in different ways. So it's just, how much, have you really worked on yourself, to really, I don't know, just kind of like, I don't know, just be good
Well,
on
I
your
do
own.
know, you know, the older you get, the less time you have to waste. So,
Mhm.
you know, don't wait on him to figure it out because
Yeah, there might be a
you might,
what
yeah, there might be someone else
there might
that
be someone in a grass skirt next door in a toga.
the toga party.
Yeah. Just saying.
It's frustrating, I know, but that's why we have these genres and groups and share our experiences and, keep the faith and just when you're feeling a little blue about it, hold your hand over your heart and tell yourself how much you love yourself, and go buy yourself some flowers, or do something special for yourself. And
Mhm.
take
Yeah.
it a day at a time. We get too far ahead in our head, like, let's just
Live for the
worry about
day.
today.
Yeah, just get through today. Tomorrow's gonna be a new day, and hopefully it's gonna be a beautiful, like, experience, whether or not it's gonna be with Crispy back in your life or not, you know?
And
It might.
I think too, one thing I've learned is with um, attraction, if you get so dialed in on one person, your energy says that. And so
Mhm,
then no one is going to, I mean, energetically, people can pick up on when you're not available, right?
mhm.
And so, you know, we don't just hang ourselves up on a coat hook and wait to see what happens. I mean, you have to try to always be developing your interests and what makes you happy, and be aware of your energy, and not let someone who's mistreated you stick in your energy, because that's going to keep you from reaching out or responding to someone who's trying to ask you a question or get to know you. I mean, I've heard stories of people meeting in the produce section at the grocery store, for God's sake. I mean, it can happen for you
Frozen grapes.
anytime, but being aware of your energy and what you're carrying in it. And if you're carrying around someone who's hurt you, and you're waiting for him to make it right, that's like being in stagnant land. And our
Yeah,
energy is not meant to be stagnant. We're supposed to be creative and always growing and sloughing off negative energy. Um, but it does take a lot of awareness, like I said, because women have been waiting on their men for centuries.
mhm,
It
mhm.
is a time loop, uh, subconscious pattern. So, being aware of that. And I never had kids, but I swear I wish, mothers would think more about bringing up nice husbands rather than staying possessive over their boys. My ex-husband's mother was the same way. It came in between us, and um, you shouldn't have to compete with the mother. I mean, there's distinct roles in people's lives, and
Mhm.
um, in fact, I have an old friend. She's in her 70s. She has grown children in their 40s, and one's like 50. And, she's just now like cutting apron strings with them. And it's a long story I won't go into, but, I'm sitting here listening to this. I was like, well, my mom made me get off her car insurance when I was 21. And she's got a daughter in her 40s that she's still carrying on her car insurance and her cell phone thing. And
Mhm.
they're having a falling out. And she's like, yeah, I guess it's time to cut the apron strings. And I'm thinking, yeah,
At 40? Hello?
yeah.
Imagine the savings, like.
So, every family's different, and we are all damaged and broken from our different past lives and family patterns. So we just have to
Mhm.
try to heal ourselves and find that peace and contentment, so that we're the best, person we can be for ourselves, and to bring to a healthy, balanced relationship. Because you don't want what you've had in the past, right? You don't want the codependent relationship or the abusive relationship, whether it's physical or verbal.
Mhm.
We're all done with that. We want a balanced mind, body, spirit relationship with
Yeah,
someone
but
who
that's
wants the
kinda
same
hard
thing.
to come by.
It's the spiritual
I'm not saying
awakening, right? The
I'm not
times that they're in.
I'm not saying that they're not out there. There's very few and far between spiritually awakened, divine men.
Yeah.
Let's just put it like that, but, I mean, and for the ones that are actually married, and happy, good for them. But
Yeah.
what about for the rest of the people who are, I guess like the couple life isn't for everyone, right? I mean, there's not enough nice men to go around.
It takes a lot of work to be aware of our patterns and behaviors, and like you were talking about the projection. So it's a daily maintenance of sorts, to watch our thoughts and, um, keep a high vibration, not let anybody affect how you feel about yourself. And that's tough because people are always trying to make people feel bad.
I
A lot of
know. I
mean
mean, it's
people in this
other
world.
people's energy. You only got yourself that you have to defend, but what about other people, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It'll
hard,
all
so
work
hard.
out. I will promise you that. And
Mhm.
nothing ever stays the same. So I
That's
think
why
that,
you detox with a bath salt and call it a day.
yeah,
Yeah.
have a little ginger ale.
Yeah, just relax, let it go down the drain, it'll be alright.
Yes. Get some sunshine.
Mhm. So, alright, guys. His he took his girlfriend home too? Who? What? Shabaka, your brother just moved back with your dad? Oh, so they're at one big happy family plus one?
Oh, and the
Mm.
dysfunction carries on. Well, just know that we're all dysfunctional and we're all in the same boat and we're all trying to navigate. So you're not alone and things do change. And, it's a time of what's your metal? What are you made of? What do you believe?
Mhm. Alright, so alright, guys, so I'm gonna have to let you guys go. I hope that, the discussion was helpful. I know that we went off
Yes.
on some tangents on a few parts of this particular episode, but again, if you guys would like to book a reading with Sunny, it's linemountainhealing.com.
Thank
She's
you.
done plenty of them for me, and I enjoy each and every one that she does for me. And it's a little bit different than what you would normally would receive from myself because mine is all based on intuition, but she navigates through the stars. And so, yeah, go ahead and check it out. It's just really nice and refreshing to get like maybe confirmation on what I can see, but also what
That's
she can
true.
see too. So,
Insights.
um,
There's usually some
yeah, and
insights.
maybe getting a little bit extra on the side, like other stuff that I didn't see, that she could actually pinpoint with astrology. So, thank you, Shabaka. I hope
Thank
everyone has
you.
a lovely night. Okay, set your
Yes.
intentions and um I guess, go with your gut instinct on this one, guys, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. It's all good.
Um, all
And
right.
thank you all. And we'll look forward to another time.
All right, sounds good.
All
All
right.
right, guys. So I hope you all have a lovely evening and we'll see you next time.
Bye
Bye-bye.
now.